Hi. So for our Illustrator presentations, the person that I wanted to research about was Tom Whalen. And a little bit about Tom Whalen is that he was born April 7th, 1974. And in his youth, his grandmother owned a candy shop. And in the back, she would have comic books, and he would go back there to read the comic books. And he'd do that a lot over the weekends. That's where most of his love comes from illustration, was from the illustration of the comic books. And he was really inspired from those of Steve Ditko, Todd McFarlane, and Jack Kirby. And because of that, that's what inspired him to go to school in Kutzer University, located in Pennsylvania. Um, but it was during that he realized he was like working in the wrong field of art and really wanted to go towards like graphic design. And that's where like most of that inspired from because his professor would encourage him to use more like graphic or graphing for his work. And that goes like this leads us into his style, what his style is. So Tom Whalen typically uses geometric shapes or organic shapes to fill in his work, and that's all it consists of. To start off, he hand draws his art and then to scans it whatever he does, and then he uploads it to Adobe Illustrator, and from there he adds the shapes. And it's from there like he likes to add clean, elegant lines and use a minimal color palette. And that's another thing for his color palette. People from multiple interviews would ask him, what inspires him to use the color palettes he uses, and he would always hit them with the almost the same response in the sense that he uses a minimal color palette, and but he he experiments as he goes, which is why there's two different renders here of the Iron Giant. And so, because he likes to play around like metals and all that. So there's never one color palette he likes to stick to. He likes to outline the shape and then keep the color so he could use it late for later. And then another thing about his work, he doesn't like to leave his backgrounds empty. He likes to fill them up with shapes as well. But for the RoboCop that I have here, this is just like an example of his work, kind of like in the sketch or in the process of him making it. And one of his favorite things from his designs are the typography and the color palette. And what inspired his style is that he has an unhealthy level of love for nostalgia and toys, as he said in an interview. Um, he has both love for new and vintage things, nostalgia and toys, and because of that, he did a series of posters for a local theater, and I believe it was they had a series of films, including they had a series of films, including Today, that they still do, and it was in his youth, and it's like in his local town. He would he saw that they had these theater nights, like they call it Fright Nights, and it's the first Friday of every month they would do like a horror movie. And so he reached out to them and asked them like he would love to do work for them, and so they agreed. And so, you know, that's where like he found his calling, and like what he specializes in is in posters. He he has a wide variety of poster art, and what he does like for multiple studios or companies. And after a year, he found his calling with them, and then that's when he received a call from Mondo. And then this is some of the work he's done for Mondo. So you see here, like he still has like his unique design of the geometric shapes in the background and the minimal color palette, as you can see in all these from The Lion King, Paranorman, and Cowboys versus Aliens. And then afterwards, like, he started working with more studios. And one of them was Four Horsemen Studios, and these are some of his works. And again, you can still see like um, you can see him and his work and his signature and his style. It's still you can still see the geometric shapes and the background's filled. You can also see like the minimal color palette, which is why it's one of his favorite, and that's really why I admire his art because of the color palettes. And then, after some time, he started working for Hasbro Pulse, and so he did things for them like Transformers, GI Joe, Star Wars, like all their toy brands and stuff. And it makes sense because he likes to watch toy videos in his spare time or toy review videos in his spare time in his studio. And that's really one of the main reasons why he got recruited by Dark Horse, or my bad, Studios, Four Horsemen Studios. And you know, he sought them out because he's had them on his radar for a while because he's seen like their reviews of their products, and he really wanted to work with them, and he was able to. So that was really cool. And what led to like one of his biggest projects ever from Hasbro Pulse was the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. This is the thing that made me. Oh, sorry. The Lightning Collection is how I found out about Tom Whalen. So from here, this was like his biggest thing yet. The reason being, he he worked with Hasbro for like he worked in Hasbro back in 2009, and but in 2018 he did some exploration on their Transformers line, which led him to be able to pitch the Power Rangers Lightning Collection to them. He's never done toy packaging before, which is why this is such a big project for him. But luckily for him, Hasbro allowed him to work to focus only on the illustration while they dealt with the packaging design. So that was really cool. And like this was a really big series, and it's still ongoing. But what's really sad is last year they stopped using his art, and it was to a different artist. So I was kind of bummed out to find out about that. But it was still such a like a staple in his work, and you know that's really all like about like I've learned about Tom Whalen. He's worked with other brands and studios. Like he's made poster work with limited edition, Bottleneck Gallery, Vice Press. He's also done corporate collaboration brands such as Coca-Cola, Lego, Lucasfilms, Marvel, and Target. Overall, he's making a big name for himself in the graphic design. Well, at least I think he is, but he's definitely made his mark on toy branding, especially because that's his passion. And I feel like that's really cool that he gets to do like what he loves, what he enjoys. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.